This is Chad. This is video 3 for the 30-second film recreation. I'm going to show you how to pan and how to zoom. So let me zoom out a little bit on this image. I'm on the JPEG 3. My playhead is placed over JPEG 3. And if I click motion, we can see that my image is a little larger than what is actually showing on screen. Now my video does not show this panning or zooming, but I just wanted to show you how to do that in case you need to duplicate that on your rough video. So how you do this is, so once I've selected this clip, it now basically appears up here zoomed in. So here's my playhead for that clip, right? Oops, let me get that selected again. Here's the playhead for JPEG 3. And if I want to pan, that means moving a camera across something. So it looks like your head is turning. That's kind of the effect that you get. What we're gonna do is change the position on this. So I'm gonna start at where I want the pan to begin. It doesn't have to be at the beginning of the clip. It could be in here. But I'm going to start at the beginning, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little diamond here that's called a keyframe. That means begin action, whatever the action is. And to add that little keyframe, I'm going to click this button right here. It looks like a stopwatch, so it's kind of like start something. So begin. So here's where my keyframe begins, or where my pan begins with the keyframe. Now I'm going to move my timeline over to the end of the clip, and I'm going to adjust where this is. So I'm just going to grab it and drag it to the right. So notice when I did that, I have a new keyframe now. So here's kind of a start action and an end action. And as I drag between those two, you'll see that it moves the distance that I drug it, but also in the time that I gave it. I could move this keyframe really close and it would go really fast and look a little weird. So I'm going to keep that kind of distant. And let's just play this to see how it works. It's a little bit strange, I mean, but that's what we have. Okay, I did want to talk about zooming. Let's see if what the deal is with this one. Okay, let's pretend like we're going to zoom on this one. We're just going to zoom on these two. They're already kind of close up. We'll zoom a little closer because they're whispering or something. So I've clicked on put the playhead over my JPEG 4 and I've selected it. It has a little white line around it. Once it's selected and the playhead's over it, now all of these different effects we can control within this clip. So I'm going to put my playhead at the beginning or wherever I want the zoom to begin, and zoom has to do with scale. So I'm going to click this stopwatch to add a keyframe at this playhead, and then I'm going to move my playhead over, and I'm essentially going to zoom in. So I can do that a couple ways. I can change this number. I can move this slider to show a zoom in, or I can click motion and then kind of do a hand zoom in, which and that's not a technical term by any means, but it here we're zooming in a little bit, and I might just move it up a little bit. So let's see what we get. Okay, so that's it. So we've just added a zoom and a pan. So that's how that works. So once we're done and everything seems to be going well, let me mention one more thing before we export, and that's about the audio. So if I want to change the audio or edit it, I can drop in, like say music or special audio effects. I can put in these different layers down here. Let's say I want to adjust the volume on this clip. This line right here separating our left and right, is a volume line, and it's right in the middle of things right now. If there was something I wanted to, if I wanted to increase the overall volume, I would just click this and drag it up. And let's try playing it. Oops. Oh, I'm not sure why that's not working now. But, and honestly, sometimes for me, InDesign does this and I have to restart it. But increasing it is like this, decreasing it is like this. So I'm just dragging those up and down. If though I want to get rid of a little section here that maybe has the wrong word, and maybe this maybe at the end of our maybe when we're actually editing, something's going on where we need to quiet it out or increase the sound. Here's how we'll do it. We go into audio and we're going to, let me kind of pull that out. Okay, so now we can see here's a little keyframe. So I'm going to put a keyframe right where my playhead is by clicking keyframe, and I'm going to move it over a bit, and I'm going to put in 4 keyframes in here. And then I can adjust, I'm zooming in a little bit so we can get a little more detail. I'm going to adjust where they are, so I might move this to the left. This I'm going to move down, so I'm going to quiet this whole little scene or word right here. Because it didn't play audio before, I doubt it's going to play now, but if we were to play it, you would hear noise, and then there would be a decrease in noise until you get no noise. Then it would ramp back up and you would hear the noise again, or hear the audio again. So that's how you can either decrease noise on an audio on an area or increase it if they're maybe talking too quietly. So again, keyframes are the key. All right, so now what I want to do is export. So I want to show you how to do that. So I'm going to zoom so this fits my whole width of my timeline. I'm going to move my playhead to 0, 0, and then I'm going to choose under File, Export Media. File, Export Media. And here's what we get. And it's hard to, I'm going to have to move this around a little bit, but this is the export settings. At the bottom, I can see that my playhead is at the beginning and that my whole video is 22 seconds. I'm going to make a few, just 3 changes to this. One is I'm going to change format, whatever it's on right now. It should be at H.264. So you'd click it and select it, H.264. Then I'm going to change the preset, and that should be YouTube SD or SD wide. I'm sorry, YouTube 480 SD or SD wide. So I'm going to choose YouTube 480 SD wide because my format is a little wider. And that's a lower setting. You can export it in a higher setting for yourself, but this is the one that I'd like you to download to your I'd like you to create a YouTube channel for yourself and keep it private, and then upload this video that we're going to produce to that. So that changed. So 480 SD. Notice what SD did. I'm going to do wide so we can get kind of that letterbox feel. And then submit the link to Blackboard from that YouTube upload. Okay, hope I explained that well. So next we're going to click the output name, and what that is going to do, it's going to let us change the name. So I'm going to call this HP test, and I'm going to leave the file format alone, but then I'm going to make sure that I want it in my interior design or magazine. So it's not my magazine interior. I actually want it in my 30-second video folder, and then I'm going to click save. So now all these settings are correct for me to click this next button, which is export, and then it only takes like 3 seconds to export this thing and you're done. We're going to try playing it to see how it works, and that is right here. Not sure if it will play while my QuickTime player is recording, So be sure to test this and then upload it once it is. Okay. Hope that helps. And that will conclude the 30-second video tutorials.